All right, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we're just gonna jump in, answer your questions, answer your comments, cover some of the news first, some of the, I don't know if it counts as news, ski industry gossip, ski industry going-ons is, I don't know. But if you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and we're just gonna jump right into it. Okay, first off, let's talk about what's been going on in the Olympics. Lots of juicy gossip or just, I don't know, cool stuff happening. First off, we had Ryan Cochran-Siegel coming in at second, getting the silver medal, which was phenomenal. I've known Ryan Cochran-Siegel just from junior racing in Vermont. I mean, I didn't know him, I just saw him on the podium. You know, I'm drinking my hot cocoa, but congrats to him, that is so cool. Nice to see a Vermonter take that. We had Idaho resident Breezy Johnson get first place, get a gold medal, which was awesome. And then she was proposed to by her fiance a couple days later, which was, you know, cool. I mean, yeah, good for them. Then you had Lindsey Vohn's crash that everyone saw, where she broke her leg. That was a brutal crash. Now, there are so many armchair people out there saying like, oh, well, Lindsey should have never been there, yada, yada. It's like, are you just gonna ignore her World Cup medals and World Cup win prior to the Olympics? Are we just gonna pretend like that didn't happen? You know, that stuff happens. Ski racing's super dangerous and speed events are even more dangerous. Like that happens. And, you know, like how many people out there would qualify for the Olympics like Lindsey did and just be like, nah, you know, at this point, I'm too old. It's like, no way, she was doing great and that stuff happens. That has nothing to do with her age or anything like that. She just crashed, it's okay. I mean, obviously she had the ACL tear leading up to that, but I thought, in my opinion, as somebody who is a big ski racing fan, you know, and I guess I've dwindled over the years in how much I focus on it. But, you know, I've been watching ski racing since the 90s, since I was a kid, since it was like Peekaboo Street, and Tommy Moe. And I just think it was one of the coolest things as somebody who is a lifelong fan to see Lindsey come back. To me, it's like the equivalent of somebody seeing Muhammad Ali come out of retirement or somebody seeing, you know, one of their favorite athletes of all time come back in, and it injected so much excitement for the sport. I know that, you know, in my niche, people care about skiing, but the rest of the world really doesn't pay attention to ski racing that often. And having just Lindsey inject so much excitement back into the sport, obviously the Olympics is part of that, but seeing one of the greatest of all time come back, have a great season, it really, to me, breathed a ton of life into the sport. And it's the most excited I've been to watch or follow ski racing in a long time. So to me, it was a tremendous experience. I thought Lindsey really it was really inspirational seeing her kind of get up, push herself, and perform well like that. I don't know. It was an awesome experience. I'm really grateful that I got to experience it. And I don't know, there's always armchair coaches and but usually those people don't really understand the sport well enough to understand that she knows more than most people out there about what she's capable of and had already proved herself with her World Cup performances. And I think just the fact that she made it to the Olympics was the accomplishment, and anything after that was just gravy. So that's my opinion, which is very biased, but I don't know. You got it. What else did I see in the news? I saw Cyrus Shank over at Renoun. Maybe this is kind of old, but he is moving on. I believe he's sold the company or is no longer running Renoun Skis. I believe he's kind of venturing off more into, what did I see? Don't quote me on this. This is off the hip, but he's using some of his like polymer experiments and putting it towards athletic flooring. So lots of exciting stuff there. You know, congrats to Cyrus. I've talked to Cyrus a couple of times when I first did the Renoun reviews. I haven't talked to that company in a while. I reach out and then they kind of forget to reply, which is fine. But I don't know, we'll see how the brand does. It's always cool when a brand has a face and kind of a person and a story. But, you know, I'm sure with that, he's carrying over a lot of his shaping and everything else. His polymer is always funny because it was supposed to make the skis more damp. And, you know, like, I'm sure they have evidence for that. But I really felt like the bases glided really smoothly and they weren't that damp, but they were really reactive and you could feel everything out of the ski. So, you know, I don't know that like whatever the quote unquote gimmick was with their polymer was doing what they said it did, but it still created a good feeling, if that makes sense. I just felt like it was opposite of what they said. But again, whatever. It's anecdotal. It's one pair of skis. That's just me. And then we also had the Norwegian Nordic skier who got third and then broke down crying about cheating on his girlfriend, the love of his life. Oh, brother. And I guess what makes it more dramatic is the guy who got first from Norway had dedicated his win to one of their teammates who had passed away. Listen, I get that the Olympics is this big stage to do all this stuff, but it doesn't mean you have to do everything out there. You know what I mean? Oh, brother, just, ugh. And then, does she want to be talked about on the national news, right? Does she want her whole family to know that she was cheated on? I just think, whatever you thought was going to happen from that didn't happen. It just, not everything is that deep. And whatever is going on in your personal life, that was such a weird place to talk about it. It's man, therapy's another option. There are people professionals you could talk to about that. Talking to the camera people isn't going to resolve anything. I don't know. Here I am yapping my head off into the camera, but still. Okay, all right. Now that we've covered everything I can think of, there's also, there's the American snowboarder who's just been killing it, who's a carving snowboarder, which is awesome, who's kind of older, and he's I'll do it next time too. That has been really cool to follow. There's been so many cool Olympic stories, but I'm just giving you the highlights off the top of my head. I'm sure as soon as I start editing, there will be 8 that I felt I should have talked about. Okay, let's see. Let's go into the comments. Okay, Stephen Goodkind says, any chance you will review faction skis this year? Ooh, God, what did I ski on? Was that the Dancer 2? I hated that faction ski. That was what I call it, the boogie board of skis. Yeah, because it's just it wasn't changed. You're not changing the shape. It's just already got the shape to track. If I can, I will. And if Faction ever wanted to send skis, I'm totally open to that. Just because I have one bad experience doesn't mean every ski is a blank page. But I have so many skis that I'm working through with what is sent from the brands and from what Patreon is funding to get sent, that it's really, really low on the totem pole. I would have to just burn through every other demo in my local area. I guess there's always a chance, but right now my local demo shop I think carries 2 different types of faction skis, and I've already skied one of them. It's unlikely at this point. I have so many skis to review. If I get a chance, maybe, but I have so many other skis that I need to actually test, and so many other things that I'm excited to test, that it's very unlikely that I'll get around to faction. I just can't prioritize these brands where they're not willing to kind of work with me. And on top of that, I have so many other people that I'm trying to really act in good faith and get those reviews done for them. So it's not a priority. It's not a no forever. If something comes across my desk, I'm always open to testing and reviewing it. But as of right now, there's no plans, I guess is the gentle way to phrase it. Okay, any outlook on when you will get a chance to try the new QST94s? I had a chance to demo them last year and I liked them a lot versus my current QST92s. That's another one. It's on my radar, and actually I would really like to test the QST94s. The problem is my local demo shop only has the 172 centimeter length, and Salomon is not a brand that works with me. I used to. They sent me a pair of Stance 90s, but I don't know. They just seem to have gone a different direction this year. What can I say? I can't control it. They don't seem too interested in working together. I know that they work with other channels. I know that they do a bunch of other stuff, but unfortunately right now there's no plan or ability to test the QST94. Not much else I can do. I could test the 172, but that's pretty short. And then all the comments will be like, oh, well, of course you don't like it. It's too short. Or, oh, you really like it. You even love it in the 180. There's no winning there. I'll try my best is the answer. I'll go back and see if they've got any different links at the demo shop. I guess it's been a while since I checked in with them. But as of right now, Salomon totally has the ability to send me skis. They know where I'm at. They know I'm happy to work with them. They just, I don't know. I'm pretty critical. And then a lot of the brand, people that they work with aren't that critical. I don't know. If you're really, I've gotten so many QST94 comments. Comment to them. Let them know that you want to see this content. I can tell them all day, oh, these metric. But really, when other people tell them, that carries a lot more weight. So if you're interested in that, consider reaching out to them. Okay. A lot of comments on the Armada Declivity review. Some saying, hey, I had a very different experience on my previous gen. I know they changed it, in 2025 or 2026? Hard to say. if it's just a construction thing. Some people were like, I think you got a bad pair. But here's the thing. Those declivities, are they behind me? Yeah, oh, they're over there. Those declivities, they were sent out the door by Armada. I'm having the same experience as every other person who shops and pays hard-earned money for those skis gets. So if I have a bad pair and it's something that snuck through quality control, that's a bummer, but I'm not gonna buy 2 pairs of skis to test that. And honestly, also, that is my real experience with a pair of Armada skis that were shipped through the mail to me. So if I got a bad pair, that's also on Armada. Like that kind of also gets baked into the performance. So it could be that the generation change is different than what other people say. I believe other people when they say that they really like them. You know, I know that like with the Atomic Maverick line, they changed that and like, man, that really affected it. I haven't done the review yet, but I'm working on my Maverick 96 CTI review. And it was, that width got hit with that redesign like a freight truck full of bricks. Oh my God. It could be that like just the changes they made over time are what I'm feeling, but that performance out of that declivity was very disappointing, and I can't give you any answer other than that was my real experience and what really showed up at my house, and that's what I'm working with. I don't know, I'm doing everything in good faith the best way I can. All right, Chiara Montanucci 7714 says, do you have a ski recommendation for skier in the Austrian Alps? Maybe an all-mountain ski. Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't skied in the Austrian Alps, so take this with a grain of salt. I guess I skied in the Dolomites in Italy, so I'm gonna and I've skied in France and Switzerland. So I'll try to give you a very loose, educated guess based on that. So just take it with a tremendous grain of salt. What skis did I really enjoy when I was there? Oh my gosh, let me see. Check my notes really quick. Just trying to remember what I skied. I really enjoyed a pair of Head E-Race Pros that I skied on. I really enjoyed the Nordica Multipista, was pretty fun. A pair of AK Orange skis that I enjoyed. Probably one of the best skis out there without giving too much away of the review coming out is the Monaro AS. I just thought was fantastic. If you can demo a pair of those. The Stokely Monaro AS was really fun out there in Europe. And you know, I would say also just get something that feels good for your carving ability. I mean, I would have also had a ton of fun probably on like a Mantra 84 while I was there. I would have had a ton of fun, you know, if I could have taken the Pieceworks out of there. A lot of it's gonna depend on your preference and your abilities and where you're going. But from what I've experienced in the little bit of skiing I've done in Europe is a lot of those trails are really, you know, built around on-trail skiing. And that may be just where I've skied. You know, Chamonix was very different. There's a lot more off-trail skiing there. But if you're looking for an all-mountain ski for carving in those kind of conditions that I saw, it really seems like, you know, a sub around 80 millimeter width carving focus ski or a little bit less even could give you a ton of value. I would test out like those Head E-Race skis were really fun. And a lot of those areas too, they have demo shops, right? And it was like a fairly affordable demo. So I'd look at doing that. A Rossignol Arcade 88 would have been so fun out there. Maybe that's the answer. Arcade 88, Monaro AS, Storm Rider is fun, but I don't know if there was enough room with the crowds that it would have been as optimal. Monaro AX is fun. And God, not really the Mavericks anymore. Headcore 94 would have been fun. Although again, some of the hills I went to could get a little crowded. I would look at those that I recommended. Arcades, Mantra 84s, and Stokely Monaro ASs, and the Head E-Race Pro. Start there and, you know, kind of figure out what you like after that. All right, last question. Yank Hark over 6633 says, Elliott, I know this year has not been great out west, so I don't know if you have a chance to get into many glades. This year, my friends and I, as well as my kids, have really gotten into doing glades. Can you do a video on Glade skis? I feel like not much out as far as glade reviews. My Declivity 92s and 180 and Fisher Nightsticks and 177 feel like they don't smear well enough in the trees. We are New York based, so ski east stuff. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that you don't see a ton of glade stuff because the trees out west are different than east. I forget which one it is, but what is that called? Oh my God, the name is escaping me, but deciduous, or when they have leaves versus not having leaves that fall. So we have a lot of pine trees. We do get some maples and things like that. But that's why we have so many ski wells. But when you have pine trees and they don't lose their needles, it stops the snow, and that's how you get those tree wells. So if you've ever wondered why there's so many tree wells out west and why it's so dangerous, it becomes one, more dangerous, but also creates a different dynamic of how you ski around trees. And the East Coast with the, you know, maple leaves or whatever, with the leaves falling with the foliage, there's more snow around the trees, so you can take a tighter turn around those glades. So actually, a lot of the West Coast doesn't really have glade skiing versus the East Coast. Glade skiing, if you're not familiar, is just like you're going in the trees, you've got really quick turns around the trees. Sometimes you'll have bumps or moguls or whatever. And on powder day is a really good place to find snow because not a lot of the general public goes there. It is dangerous, however. Glade skiing is super fun. And I take my kids on like a smaller version of it, but be careful with glade skiing. You have to take an extra level of care because I know this seems silly. People forget trees don't move. Brush and bramble will kind of move out of your way and bend. You run into a tree, you're into the tree and you're gonna get really hurt. And when you take a body like ours with organs and everything and you stop it suddenly, that's how you can really get hurt, or, you know, not to mention hitting your head, X, Y, and Z. So I tend to ski a little bit more conservatively. With those skis, you don't want a super long ski because, you know, you have to turn it sideways and you have less room to operate in the woods. I've got a pair of Meyer Mustangs that I thought were a blast and I think that would be like a great ski in the glades. I have it on 172 centimeter length. It's got a little bit of width for those soft spots in the glades. It's got a really like easy turn. You can smear it around. I think also, depending on how you ski, like a bent 90 would be really fun, or a bent 100 for more snow. Yeah, but a lot of like glade skiing is just how maneuverable and easy is it to start a turn and get it around. Vocal Blaze 104, that's probably one of my top picks for like glade skiing, or as close as we get to it out here. They're lightweight, so they're easy to kind of redirect. They've got a little bit more kind of shovel in the tip for those softer snow conditions. Vocal Blaze, I haven't tried the other width, but the Vocal Blaze 104 I tried would be a great choice for that. You just want something that's easy to redirect, like a bent 100, bent 110, Vocal Blaze. Vocal Blaze probably, like I said, one of the better ones. Meyer Mustang. And you want it to be soft enough that you can kind of feel out those bumps. I'm not a big mogul skier, but I do like the glades. Just be careful, you know, especially if you're skiing with your kids. Always stick together. It's also easy to go wander off too much in the glades. Just take your time, but it is very fun. And I'm sure you're having a blast. So anyway, that's the end of the video. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll also have affiliate links down in the descriptions if you're currently shopping for skis. Thank you everyone who writes in these comments. I find it to be just a really cool way to connect with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.